Can you hear me? Everyone can hear me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
can hear you.
they can hear you now. They couldn't hear you before.
Okay. So as I was saying, hello and welcome to another live edition of FPL Happy Hour with myself, Sham, otherwise known as FPL Two Guys One Cup.
And myself, Rob, otherwise known as FPL Panda.
Rob, you were looking sharp there with your haircut, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I'll take this off for a sec. Yeah. Look.
Yeah, no caps anymore covering up all your hair.
Yeah. See, oh mate, it was cold walking out the barbers yesterday. I'll tell you that. Yeah, when I was like wearing a hat for pretty much 5 months.
Yeah,
And then suddenly walking down the street with no hat on, I was just like, oh, it's a bit chilly.
a bit frosty.
Yeah,
Frosty.
but yeah, feel fresh and
Nice.
ready to tackle the last 6 game weeks, 5 game weeks, six
Yeah.
game weeks.
Well, this week's pod was a bit different, wasn't it? It's very passionate from Rob. I don't think I've ever seen you so passionate about anything in my life.
And it worked.
And it worked, yeah.
I
You brought it down, Rob.
I think the reaction from the fan base around the world and the ultimately I think it was the players on Tuesday evening as we were recording, stuff like the Liverpool team putting out their statements. Luke Shaw was another one. He put out a statement, and then you started to see some other huge names in football like starting to put statements out, and it was just you knew the game was run, wasn't it? Although
Yeah.
um, Florentino Perez still thinks um, it's going to happen.
Yeah, it's not happening.
It ain't happening, mate. Um,
Ain't
if you've got them under contract, yeah, we'll send the under 18s to go and play in it for you. There you go. Yeah, they can go and play in a European Super League in midweek if for the next 25 years if they want to do that. Um,
We've got Connects on in the chat. Hello, mate. Anyone else around? Drop us a message. If you've got any questions, pop them in. Yeah, ESL kind of is pretty much over now, so we can focus on the Premier League and FPL for the next few weeks.
we know that these
Uh,
teams have got something to play for
yeah,
for next season.
exactly. So yeah, I think tonight is pretty much going to be us looking at what we're going to be doing over the next few weeks. Well, this game week in particular, and our thoughts about this game week just gone. Do you want to go over how you've done, mate?
Yep, I mean
The game week ended
we did
a little while ago.
we covered sort of most of the players in the pod the other evening. I mean, since then, I've had Rudiger with his clean sheet. I've had Son with his like mini haul on Wednesday evening, and then
You
Iheanacho this
damn
evening.
me, fucking Sanchez.
Well, I was going to come to that. I think we joked on the pod, and I said, "Oh yeah, he could come out with a couple of save points." He
And you
came out,
said I'd love a 0-0.
yeah, and he came out with a couple of save points, a bonus point, and the clean sheet. Um, yeah, I was. I'd be. Imagine if like Leno conceded in like the last minute, and then Sanchez went and did that.
Yeah,
So yeah, that actually takes my score from 72 to 81 for the game week, which at the moment, according to livefpl.net, looks like it is putting me around 80k from 103k. So yeah,
nice.
really happy with the game week, and I think I'm nicely set up moving forward. We'll obviously chat about what our plans are for the next 24 hours, well, less than 24 hours to the deadline for game week 33. How did you finish the game week?
Well, look, after the first half of the Leicester game, I was licking my lips and I was like, yeah, I can get in the top 100k here. I was like about 120k. Obviously, I had Vardy and Iheanacho, who, Vardy finally delivered. He got a goal and an assist, and obviously Iheanacho scored a goal. But they could have scored so much more in the first half. Like Iheanacho had two gilt-edged chances. Um, so yeah, that was disappointing, to be honest, after being 3-0 up in the first half and then not scoring any in the second. But look, I've got to take the wins. So gone from 155k to 115k, 79 points. Still 2 points behind you. Yeah, good game week overall. I can't complain. Can't complain. I thought I was going to be in the top 100k for the first time, but hopefully that I'll save that for next week.
Probably
Uh, you know,
Probably just like
we were,
an Iheanacho return off the top, like an Iheanacho goal, I think would have guaranteed you it because of his ownership being that much lower than
or
Vardy's.
Vardy probably.
Would have been
Va-
Vardy that
uh,
put you there.
yeah, I think. Well, Iheanacho OR around my rank, I think it was like 70%,
Oh right,
60%, and
that's
Vardy's was
quite
like
low.
8%.
Okay,
So I think Vardy return probably would have. Um, but we were saying just before we got on the stream, when we started our podcast, I was like 1.4 million, and that was in game week 18, 19. And now I'm near 100k. You were, I don't know what you were, 800,000, 500,000, something.
yeah, I think I was between 700 and 800k at the
Yeah,
time.
and you're in the top 100k now, so it really does make a difference, us talking about it every week.
Yeah,
um
hopefully
so
it's helped. Hopefully it's helped the people listening and watching
yeah,
as well. Because
yeah,
yeah, I think where we've sat and really dived into some of the stats and like I mean, over the last um, 3 or 4 months, we've really looked at every almost every aspect of the different players, like differentials and high ceilings and heavy hitters and stuff like that. And I think ultimately, yeah, it's come to our benefit. We've had a few nightmares along the way,
we've
um,
also had some really good ones as
but
well.
then yeah, we've had some really good moments where we've picked that like just golden differential that's then gone and returned straight away. John Stones. Uh,
John Stones, who did we else? We had Iheanacho
um,
at the very beginning of the streak, and then Greenwood last week, just last week.
yeah, Madison.
Yeah,
That was when he went on his little hot streak. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I ever brought Madison in, but it was nice to see that. Yeah, um, we could add him to the list of successful like gambles um,
yeah.
for this second half of the season. Um,
Connexon says could have done without Cash getting a red. Oh God, yeah, that was pretty bad. Rafinha being a doubt gives reason to think about Kane to Vardy to get 11 out. Yeah, that's something that we will discuss tonight in terms of options, because you're thinking about something like that, aren't you, Rob? So we'll
yeah, um, yeah, we'll have a look at it like in the next half an hour, 3/4 an hour or so. Um,
What should we do first? Do you want to do the 5v5
yeah,
first?
let's get that out of the way. And as we're doing that, if anyone wants to get some questions in, and then we can just bash through all the questions whilst because we'll be going through the fixtures. And yeah, it would just be easier to do the questions as we do the fixtures. Saves me having to flick between the FDR screens and the fixture screens and everything. So yeah, let's get the 5v5 done first. I'm
Nice.
I'm all
Um,
ready.
Right, let me just for anyone that's new in the chat, me and Rob do a 5v5 every week. We both pick 5 players for the next game week that we think are going to perform in the draft style format, one by one. We toss a coin and work out who goes first. It's one goalkeeper, one defender, two midfielders, one attacker, and you can only pick one player from a team, so no more than one player from each team. You can have two at any percent ownership. 1 under 20, 1 under 10, and 1 under 5. Right, so last week, mate, you got fucking very lucky. Yeah, very lucky. So I had Patricio Pereira from Leicester, who didn't play, Bowen, Bruno, and Kane with 25 points. And you had Son, Vardy, Mahrez, Areola, and Wan-Bissaka with 27 points. So you won by 2 points. And I had one less player. That pissed me off. So we are 7-7 now.
Come back from I was 7-4,
Come back.
7-4 down. I've won the last
7-5,
3.
7-5. Not that good, mate.
Yeah, but the comeback is on, and now I've got you against the ropes.
You got me.
It's time to Rocky Balboa that shit.
Right, okay. Let me toss a coin. Heads or tails, mate?
Tails never fails.
It is tails.
'Cause it never fails. I've got two on exactly the same projection, so I'll do it by their value. So Bruno Fernandes.
Oh, fuck's sake.
He has a slightly better value rating for me. His value rating is 22 compared to the other top projected points player, 7.5 points, who was only valued at 18 for the amount of points he scored compared to his price tag.
Salah.
Who was the other top projection. So that puts me to go Jamie Vardy. 7.1 projected points, 20.3% ownership.
Iheanacho.
Then this could be a golden pick after he scored his
So
first.
Bruno and Vardy are both over 20%, yeah?
Yep. This player is 5%. And he just scored his first goal in, I think it was probably the first goal of this season, it felt like. Sadio Mane, projected at 6.3 points, 5% owned. That's unbelievable that he's only 5% owned. Well, it is believable, but yeah, shocking.
Um, this is a tough one now. I will go with Martinez.
This player has a projection of 4.7 points, 8.6% owned, Lewis Dunk. Tell you what, I'm
Veltman.
quietly confident at the moment. And then
Veltman.
finally, 4.5 projected points, 5.2% owned, Rui Patricio.
Let me check my percentages.
Patricio, Dunk, Fernandes, Mane, Vardy.
Are all your percentages right?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah, Vardy 20.3, Fernandes 57.1, Mane 5%, Dunk 8.6, Patricio 5.2.
What's Greenwood?
Greenwood is 3.7%.
Perfect. Greenwood, who may not play.
I think he'll play.
Yeah, for 10 minutes.
He'll play, but I don't think he'll. Um, I don't think he'll start. I think we've got the so next week. It's probably United's biggest week of the season, um, considering they've got the league like second place is wrapped up for United now.
Yeah, pretty much.
They just, I think it's more of trying to put down a little statement for next year with how they finish. If they they're the most informed team at the moment. They've won 5 of their last 6. I think the only team that can match that is City. They've won 5 of their last 6. They're even like XG form, they're top. Um, yeah, the most informed team by a way at the moment. And yeah, I think Leeds will be a game because of the rivalry. They're going to be wanting to win that. Then they've got the Europa League semi-final in midweek, and then Liverpool next week, which is it doesn't matter if the league's over and there's nothing to play for United. Um, it's a big game, and it's something where we can really dent their Champions League hopes
Yeah.
by beating them, which will make it just that little bit sweeter. And then we've got another Europa League semi. Now, I think that Mason Greenwood um, starts in Europa League but doesn't start in those two Leeds and Liverpool games. I think that would be Dan James. Um, it's whether, although, if Ollie decides, right, against Leeds, I'm going to give Marcus Rashford a rest and start Greenwood. Because yeah, Rashford's been carrying. I think every time we mention him, I do say he looks like he's carrying an injury. I think he's still got these problems with his back. I will I wouldn't be surprised if something does go wrong at some point for him because he just needs some time out. Um,
Mm.
you know, I mean
I could have gone Rashford actually. I didn't even think
he
of that.
missed a lot of well, he was due to miss a lot of the end of last season, but because of the break, he ended up finishing the season. And I think not having like a prolonged summer break, proper summer break, has meant this injury's kind of stuck around a little bit. So it'd be interesting to see what happens there, especially with him then playing in the Euros because he's going to be he's one of the like pretty much guaranteed names, isn't he, in the England squad? So be interesting
Yeah.
to see what happens there with Rashford. Um,
Well, let me just tell you what the final teams were for the 5v5. So you've got Patricio, Dunk, Mane, Bruno, Vardy. I have Martinez, Veltman, Greenwood, Salah, and Iheanacho. I think you've got the better team there.
Especially with Vardy's brace tonight.
Not brace. You just
Oh no,
got one
golden assist, wasn't it?
goal and assist.
Um,
Yeah,
he looked a, he looked a bit more in it. Maybe
Vardy
it's
like. Yeah, he
maybe
was
with
more on it.
I
He was
think
more
with
on it tonight.
I think with Madison there, it's just that extra bit of like creativity in the midfield just helped Vardy out a bit. And Madison gives those defenders something else to think about because he breaks into that line between the midfield and the defence, and it just creates
Hmm.
that little bit of extra space for Vardy. So, and then he did he come off with like 20 minutes to go?
Madison,
No, Vardy,
10 minutes.
10 minutes to go.
10 minutes. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
so
think it's like 5-10 minutes.
and then they don't play till Monday night. Monday night, yeah, Monday night. So yeah, he's got. I would I'd be banking on him. I think he'll be. I mean, there's so many good captain options this week, but Vardy's definitely up there against Palace, who are one of these on the beach sort of teams, aren't they, at the moment? Um, yeah, so I think the captaincy options. I think we cover them between our two 5v5 teams. Salah, Bruno, Vardy.
Iheanacho.
Iheanacho, if I think if you're sitting outside the top 200k, like I think where you are, I wouldn't gamble on
I'm
Iheanacho.
I'm 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 thinking about Iheanacho. Like I'm
You're going to go
I'm like
super aggressive,
70%, 70% Iheanacho.
super aggressive into it. I mean, if he
Because I don't
returns,
have Bruno.
suppose yeah, that's. I
I
mean,
don't have Bruno.
so you've got to try and make up for that somehow
Yeah,
by going with a captain that you're going to get. You're going to basically make the most out of all of those points.
yeah.
Yeah, I understand that. I don't know who I'm captaining yet, um, but it will most likely be either Bruno or Salah. At the moment, I think it's just a coin flip between the two. Um, I still, with Liverpool, there's still something um, at the top of the pitch, and I think it's where Klopp's still rotating that team, that front,
Mm.
that front three or four. He's rotating it a lot, and they're not settling in. And I'd like to see Jota, Mane, and Salah be, as the front three more permanently, because I think that's their strongest front three and the most threatening front three. But he'll probably start Firmino again and rest Mane this week. Like you just don't you don't know, do you?
What's our thoughts in terms of a lot of people will be in a position where obviously there's blanks this week, so Tottenham and City players don't play. What's your own opinion on it, and what are you thinking to do with yours?
So I'll bring
So obviously you've not got
so at
yeah.
the
So you got two Tottenham.
so I'll bring up my so obviously I'll be starting Sanchez over Leno this week. Leno's got Everton at home, but Sanchez has got Sheffield United away. So I'm going with Sanchez against the worst attack in the league. Um, I'll be starting Phillips against Newcastle um, over Rudiger against West Ham away. I think Phillips, if Phillips plays, then he is more likely to get something than Rudiger is. Um, so that's my choice there. And then Romain Says and Luke Shaw as my other two at the back. Says has got Burnley at home. Luke Shaw's got Leeds away. I don't think Luke Shaw's going to get a clean sheet. I can't see a United clean sheet against Leeds, but I can see attacking returns from Luke Shaw because they're just going to. It's just going to be. I think it'll be a brilliant game. I think so, I'm really looking forward to Sunday afternoon because you've got United v Leeds and then you've got Spurs v City in the cup final, which again I think that'll be a great game to watch. Now with Ryan Mason looking to do something different with the Spurs team, although I've got a funny feeling City are just going to absolutely destroy them because if Ryan Mason wants to start Bale, Moura, Kane, and Son, um, yeah, Spurs are going to be in trouble. Anyway, so yeah, and then my midfield is going to stay the same. Um, Up front will be probably Iheanacho by himself, and then I'll be moving Son out for Paul Pogba at the moment. Um, I I think that as I've just said, United. I think it's going to be a goal fest, and I think the way that they're setting up with Paul Pogba at the moment,
But Leeds' defense has been a lot better recently than it has done in the previous game,
it
like as
has.
in when it was 6-2.
But players like Pogba, Fernandes, James, Rashford, they can beat their man and they can beat a second man. And the moment that happens, so Leeds' defence looks really good against teams that haven't got large numbers of players that can take a man on. Like against teams
So
where
Liverpool, they can take men on. Jota and Mane and
yeah,
Salah.
Liverpool should, but Liverpool got so many other problems.
Yeah.
um, like with their fluidity up top. Like the amount of times the other night they they made the space themselves, and it's the final ball, and it was like that last minute decisions that have let Liverpool, and they've let Liverpool down all season. And I think against United, they're starting to make like United are those final decisions are really clicking. Where in previous seasons, and then there was that like little blip a few weeks ago where that final decision was lacking, but they're so clinical at the moment. Like against Burnley last weekend, they were so clinical. Um, they didn't create loads of chances against Burnley because of the way that Burnley set up against them, but when they got the chances, they took them, and then like the third goal was just pure counter attack, wasn't it? Like Burnley just no chance at all.
Mm.
Um, and I think that Leeds will come out. They'll want to beat United at home, so they'll come out and try and play. And I think if United can break that down, there's goals. Um, I think I could easily see it being like another 5-2, 6-2. Um, I think there'll be a lot of goals. I think I'll say now. I guarantee. I'd almost guarantee there'll be over four. Four. We'll say the goal line is 4.5 for the gamblers out there.
I'm going under.
You're going under four and a
Yeah, I'm
half.
going under.
Um, you talk us through your team, and I'm going to see what price I could give you on that.
um, so it's difficult because I've got Kane and Son, and I've got no Bruno, and a dodgy Rafinha and Masuaku who may not play. So it could potentially be down to 10, and the fact that I've got a Mendy problem. So obviously Kepa started the cup, and he then started again against Brighton. Always say Birmingham against Brighton. So I could potentially be down to 9, including no keeper. So it's a really tough one. I'm thinking to do, and then obviously Alonso may not play. So I'm thinking to move out Son and Alonso, and I'm not sure about Mendy yet. And I'm thinking to bring in. I was originally going to do Sice to Sice for sorry Alonso to Sice. However, after watching Leicester play tonight and how far up Castagna was, um, I really like Castagna. So I'm thinking to do Alonso to Castagna, triple up on Leicester, really attack it, and then Son to Greenwood because I do need some sort of United coverage now. There's no guarantee that Greenwood starts, um, but I'm not. I don't like Paul Pogba. I really don't like Paul Pogba.
All right, Graham.
Um,
Start calling you Graham. That fucking Paul Pogba.
from an FPL point of view, I
he's
really
been
don't like him.
he's been like gold the last few
Oh,
weeks.
what's his? Okay, let's have a look at his returns. Maybe I'm just. I don't know. Let's have a look at his
Maybe
returns.
you
What's
are
he got?
maybe you are being a bit super.
755.
It's not
Yeah,
bad.
Greenwood's. Nah, I'm not up for that. 755. Greenwood's had 15, 11, 6.
Okay, yeah, that's. But
Yeah,
then he only started one of those.
and Greenwood didn't either. Greenwood only started.
No, Pogba started all all of his.
Well, so then that's a better point. The fact that Pogba has started all 3 games, Greenwood started only 2 out of the 3, yet scored much more points than him. 32 versus 17.
Isn't that a bit of a gamble though? With so you're hoping that if Greenwood is benched, I think it's 50-50 whether he starts.
Well,
And
he got
then
11 points
so you, you need you
game
needed
week before last. He got 11 points and played 18 minutes.
hmm, but you need him. So yeah, it's coming on, and then you don't know what situation the game
No,
could be
you
if he
don't.
came on and stuff like that. I mean,
But he's a streaky player.
hmm. Oh yeah,
Greenwood is a
we saw
streaky
it last
player.
summer. We saw
Yeah,
it last summer when he started scoring goals. It was just non-stop from him. Like he was
A-
returning every game.
and
Um,
that's the reason why
I
I
don't
want to
I,
kind of get him. Even if he's not starting and if he's coming on for 20 minutes, fair enough. Like I,
I don't
I
even
want to
think
try and
it's
get him.
he's a streaky player. I just think he is a top quality striker.
Yeah, yeah,
He's just he's not maybe not meant like this season, the start of the season. Well, I think we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago when there was the problems in when he went to Iceland and got involved and with this thing with Phil Foden and having some lady friends over and then getting caught. Yeah, I think that affected him mentally and just gave him a little stunt of confidence. And it's, I think now you can see that confidence is starting to build again. Because at the time, like he was starting for England, like
hmm
in I think against Iceland. Didn't he start for England or that week, the game before he started? Um, and yeah, he's generally seen as at the time he was seen as the main backup for Harry Kane. To play now, like now you look at Calvert Lewin's form this season, Ollie Watkins, and players like even Bamford um, have all got an argument to be that backup. But yeah, Greenwood, I wouldn't if he finished strong this season, he'll be on the plane. Um, well, not on the plane, just in the hotel because
yeah.
I think it's being announced this week due to the FA's hard work in getting the clubs to pull out of the Super League. UEFA are ready to reward them with more games at Wembley in the Euros.
Is that actually their line? Don't tell me that.
No, I read somewhere that that's what's going to happen. Like Bilbao, UEFA have taken like I said, right, we're not going to have any games there because of the travel restrictions and stuff. Um,
Right.
and yeah, so they're obviously trying to limit the games now to just the major cities, rather than going into some of the smaller cities. And yeah, obviously that particular media company that was reporting it put that spin on it that UEFA rewarding the FA.
Well,
But I mean, there was talk sort of not even 6 weeks ago that all of the tournament would be played in this country with like Wembley, Old Trafford, um, etc., all being used. So yeah.
I think so. Going back
Anyway,
to kind of my move, um, I don't like the move of taking out Son purely because I want him there. The only reason why I'm thinking about doing it is because I don't know. We don't know Rafinha's injury status. I've got Masuaku who might not play, and I might be really hampered. So that's the only reason why I'm thinking it. And I might just do a straight switch and go to Greenwood, play him, and then maybe go back to Son.
hmm.
I don't know. It's a really tough one. Um, so yeah, I need to see if there's any news that comes out in the press conference tomorrow, and then try and work it out from there. But yeah, that's one thing is with the Kane Sun thing, and you're thinking about taking out Sun. Don't you want Sun back for 34 against in their fixture on? Like they've got really good fixture on with Sheffield United and Leeds.
He probably will come back in for me.
What
Um,
straight switch, like as in just a 1 week punt kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, I think yeah that uh, yeah the Sheffield United fixture, the Leeds fixture, the Wolves fixture, I think. all of those fixtures, I think we have to be very open-minded now about Spurs.
Hmm.
Um, and we know that the quality is there. It's whether um, the the way the team is set up suits that quality. Um, I I think Sunday's game is not going to be a great way to. It's not going to be a learning thing. Like we're not going to learn much from Spurs because we know that Kane's not going to be fully fit. If he starts, it's because he's been past fit. He might not be fully fit. Um, like it could be a case that he doesn't start but gets brought on for like the last half an hour or something like that. Um, so yeah, it's
What do you think about people removing Kane? So Connect Son said in the chat about um, taking out Kane for Vardy to get 11 out. Do you think that's a good move?
I would rather move Rafinha out personally. Um,
But you can't get a big big hitter,
no,
right? He wants to get Vardy. That's the reason why he's saying Kane.
I think I think for a 1 week, um, it's okay. I mean, even though Vardy, I think against Southampton when uh, Kane plays Sheffield United, Vardy plays Southampton. Um, Now Southampton have been awful in recent weeks, and they kind of really collapsed defensively yesterday in the second half. Like Spurs should have won by more than just the one goal. It should have been more than just 2-1. And whether uh, yeah, that fixture could be a great one for Vardy as well. Like there's an argument to say that they could outscore each other that week. Uh,
Mm. Satch has got a question in the chat. So he said, "Hi guys, mulling between Trent and Castagna for this game week. The United game in 34 is annoying me. Could do Castagna and then Trent in 36 when Leicester blank. Thoughts, or is Trent now a must? For me personally, Trent is the best move I made on my wild card, without a doubt. Like from all the players that I could have had and that I was mulling over and 50-50 calls, Trent Trent is the best decision I made. Um, I don't think he's an essential player or like a must have, but I do definitely prefer him over Castagna, even with the United fixture.
hmm.
What do you think, Rob?
Yeah, I think
Also hearing Jota ACL. I haven't heard that.
I haven't heard that, but we might hear
Who
more about that.
who would be your pick to replace him? Oh well, to be honest with you, if he has got an ACL, that's ideal. Like, hopefully, I don't want him to be injured in terms of for him, but for my FPL team, that's great because I can just do Jota to Greenwood.
Yeah. Yeah, I think he's saying Greenwood, Jesse, or Madison. Um, I think
Ooh,
there's an
Jesse
argument. I'd I think for the next 3 games,
or Madison.
Madison, and then you'd go from Madison to Jesse for the last 3 games.
Mm,
Um, yeah, I'd like Madison for the next three. Like those three
where's this?
fixtures. Um, I'll just bring up the graphic that's got like the averages, and it's like yeah, those 3 fixtures. Um, they're
Satch,
between
where are you hearing about Jota's ACL? I haven't
33 and
heard that
35.
news anywhere.
But yeah, I think I'd prefer Madison as a replacement right now, but I think it also depends on what other fires you might have to put out in your team. Like if you've got other problems where I think it's all depends where the money is with your fires though. If Jota's like the most expensive player that you've got out, if he's if it's long term, Yeah, if it's an ACL, then he's not back till the autumn, isn't he? Yeah, he doesn't play till Christmas. I hadn't
He
thought of
wasn't
a
in
switch.
training. I don't know about ACL, but wasn't in training.
Oh,
There are injury concerns about Jota, who
so
has scans tomorrow. Interesting.
um, well, if he's having scans tonight, we'll know by the deadline. Something like that, Klopp will generally just come out and say it, not like Dean
Will he?
Smith. Dean Smith with, I agree, a month ago, yeah, agree. Jack Grealish is ready to play.
Yeah.
But obviously we spoke about that last week.
Madison's a really good option, actually. You could really attack it and go Vardy, Iheanacho, Madison, couldn't you?
And even if you haven't got Vardy, Iheanacho, Madison is a bit of cover because it's
No, it's not cover.
well,
Well, look at tonight. He didn't get fuck all, did he?
yeah, but we know that the
He's
quality's
not
there.
cover.
The
Yeah,
quality's
quality's
there,
there, but it's not cover. He didn't get fuck all tonight.
but you're saying that Greenwood's cover for Bruno.
No, I never said he's cover. I said I wanted United coverage. He's not cover. Bruno, he's not cover for Bruno.
That I think that like this is Madison's first start for 4 or 5 games.
Yeah.
Um, if he can start performing back to the level that he was before he got injured, then he's a great option for the next three weeks. And I think Madison against Palace is a better fixture than Lingard against Chelsea or Greenwood against Leeds, because I think Greenwood doesn't start against Leeds. Lingard against Chelsea, that's a tough fixture. It's the toughest fixture that West Ham have got for the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It just makes sense. Like Madison against Palace, like he's going up against one of the worst defences, in my opinion, in the league.
Shall we have a look at the fixtures and if there's anything else? Any other standout matches there that we think we should try and target?
I think most people have got triple Liverpool now for the run in. Yeah, and that's obviously uh, that game against Newcastle. Although Newcastle, they've looked a bit more organised and a bit more threatening. Um, but I'd still be confident going with Salah, Jota if he's not injured, Alexander Arnold, Robertson. Um, Even though Phillips is flagged, I'd just start him um, if you've got him. Um, like I'm doing that so that I don't have to play Rudiger. But if Rudiger has
If
to come in,
Jota's
he comes
injured,
in.
what are you going to do?
If Jota's injured, I'll probably bench him this week. Or I might, if Jota's injured, I might do uh, Jota to Madison. Yeah, rather than Son to Pogba. Um,
Okay.
I think that's something that I think. Yeah, that
I might have to take a -4.
that press conference for Liverpool, I think it's if that that is serious injury, he's out for the rest of the season. Then yeah, it's an important press conference to watch tomorrow. What other games are there? West Ham, Chelsea. I don't think. I think if you've got Lingard, you start him, but I wouldn't be banking on any clean sheets for anyone or anything like that. Agreed. You think both teams will score? I think both teams will score.
I can't call that one. I
I
can't
think
call it.
I think both teams will score. I think 2-1 Chelsea. Sorry.
I think we win that.
You think you win?
I think we win.
2-1 or 1-0?
2-0.
2-0.
Yeah,
Heard it here first.
2-0. I think
Uh,
that's going to be a very
the
I think it's going to be a
nerves.
really interesting game.
You can tell you're nervous about it.
I am very nervous about it, but I
No,
think
I
we
think
win 2-0.
I think yeah. If you win, you're back in. You're obviously back in control of your destiny for
Yeah.
this season. So it's arguably the first of 6 of your biggest games in West Ham's recent history.
Yeah, agreed.
Um,
Well, Leicester was like the biggest game. We had 7 cup
every
finals.
game,
Like we've
yeah,
got 6 now. It's a
yeah,
cup final. It's a massive cup final for
and
us.
because you lost against Newcastle, it makes it like we were saying this time last week that at that moment you could have afforded to drop points against Chelsea, not lose, but
Hmm.
just drop points. But now you have to win.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think it will make for a
I
good
don't know
game.
if that 2-0 is more hope than anything
I think
else.
for Chelsea now it's just a case of don't lose. I think we could see a bit of a negative performance from Chelsea, kind of how we saw them against Brighton. The
When have
very
Leicester
negative.
got a double? Satch is mentioning a Leicester double.
So we were hoping, and it could still happen, that tomorrow there will be the announcement for game week 35, 36, 37, because there's these fixtures that are going to be moving around so that every single team gets their one game at home with fans. So
Yeah,
I think it's the game week 35 fixtures all move into game week 37. The game week 37 fixtures become 36. And it produces a double game week for 5 or 6 teams, um, and a blank game week for the cup finalists,
okay.
and that's it. But there's another scenario that could be absolutely horrific, and there'll be like a blank game week for like 8 teams. um,
Jesus.
which I mean, it's going to be one of those where people just go into it with a team of 5 or 6 players, and that's it. Like, or you take the risk and take some hits to get more players in. Um, but then it would be followed. That massive blank would be followed by a huge double,
Double. Yeah.
with 8 teams doubling. I think it is. So yeah, I'll probably try and make sure. Well, if it's been announced by Friday, on the pod, I think next week our pod will be talking about that and talking about the scenarios, because we should have a finalised idea. I didn't want to do it. Um, we might have talked about if the ESL news didn't come out, we might have talked about it um, this week. But there's a lot of there's 2 main permutations to it according to Ben Krellin. But the
And
most likely is just the double game week with a small couple of blanks for the cup finalists.
we've got Mark Southerns on next week, haven't we?
Just slyly put that in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's going to be with us to talk all about the blank and double game week announcements, which I'm really looking forward to. Be able to
Yeah.
pick his mind a bit. Like when we asked him, we didn't think there'd be anything to talk about, so we were going to generally have like a kind of like a pre-post season review, like
Well, we still
talking
will, I think, with him.
just talking about how the season's gone, etc., etc. But it means we can really dive into his thoughts on the double game weeks if they're announced
If
before
they're announced.
before Tuesday evening. I think we're recording.
I can't remember what day that we agreed. Let me have a look. It was. Let's have a look. I think it was. Mark. Right, here we go. Monday,
Monday evening.
towards the end of the Leicester game.
So yeah,
So it'll
we'll
be out Tuesday.
so we'll be recording Monday evening. So hopefully, I think the general consensus around the community is tomorrow there'll be this announcement because they've announced half of the May TV fixtures and they normally announce the whole month and they haven't announced, which means that there's obviously there was some like finalising to do. So hopefully tomorrow we'll learn whether we're absolutely fucked or everything's okay. Because most people who have set up well for the run in um, should come out okay with it. I think there'd be doubles for like Liverpool, Chelsea, and a few. Well, obviously a few others.
We'll just go through it once we know.
Yeah.
Do you think there's any standout captain for this weekend?
I mean, I've mentioned the the three that I think Bruno, Vardy,
Who
and
are you
Salah.
leaning towards out of them?
Probably Salah purely for the home fixture. Although I might decide tomorrow, fuck it, let's go Bruno. Let's give him one last hurrah because I might not keep him if he doesn't return against Leeds. I might be time to say goodbye for
Yeah,
Bruno. um, I don't want to get rid of him, but I kind of want Son, Kane, uh, some of these big hitters moving forward, and that Bruno money I could use to bring in Vardy for the Southampton game. Um, so yeah, we we shall see. I probably now I've said that I'll probably captain Bruno, um, and then
cool.
he goes in gets like a record number of assists in the game or something stupid. He goes in
Right, is it
7-2 United, and Bruno gets 5 assists and a goal. Take that.
right? Is there anything else we need to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I don't think so. Yeah, they've announced everything. The ESL's over. Obviously, if you're involved with your club still, I think the whole situation, um, it's still we're in that moment where we still got to be uh, trying to encourage this like the new legislation that may or may not be put forward regarding ownership of football clubs in this country. Um, yeah, so it's keeping that in our minds, um, and also remembering that UEFA aren't the good guys in this because there's this new tournament format for the Champions League that has been snuck through.
And it's
um,
bullshit.
I personally I like this. I like the Swiss model.
Yeah, I
I,
like the model, but I don't like the fact that it's that
the
the
coefficient.
coefficient places. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't agree with these coefficient places, but I'm excited by the idea of the Swiss model. I think it'll be something fun because it's different, um, and it's almost the same, but not doing it like that. But yeah, these coefficient places for it means like Real Madrid, like they don't qualify if they don't qualify by league position, like next season. Say
I read this example.
here's
Yeah,
a good example: Liverpool
go on.
or Man
Right.
City. They get a 30-point deduction next season. They avoid relegation. They finish mid-table.
No, you have to have finished in a European spot.
Do you have to have finished in a European
You
spot?
have to finish in the
Okay,
European
they
spot.
finish.
So
So they finished seventh,
yeah,
and they qualify for the Champions League.
yeah. So this was an example. West Ham, let's say West Ham finished fifth, right, and got into Europa League, qualified for Europa League, and Arsenal finished seventh and qualified for Europa Conference League. Yeah, they would get into the Champions League, and we would be in the Europa League.
Arsenal's coefficient can't be that high.
Well, that's the example that was given.
I suppose they made the Europa League final, didn't they?
Yeah.
And then that gave them. They played the group stages the following. Oh no, they didn't do anything. They haven't played in the Champions. I can't remember last time they played in the Champions League. Like Robin van Persie was winning titles at United when Arsenal were last in the Champions League. Yeah, I got fucking Arsenal, joke of a club.
Anyway, right. Let's wrap this shit up. It's getting late. I'm fucking tired. All right, guys. Rob, all sorted. Nothing else to chat about.
No, nothing for me.
All right, guys. Have a good evening. Good luck for your game weeks. I hope that we could help you tonight. Have a fantastic weekend, and we will chat to you on next week.
Yep,
Good
cheers,
night.
guys. Good luck with the game week. Thank you.